Hello, hello. Welcome back to the conversation. We are here with Paul Calvert and Lynn Calvert today. Thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
We are. We want to talk about business. We talk about business all the time. I have known the Calverts now for a long time, almost 20 years.
20 plus.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy whenever the older you get and you're able to say, like, I've known somebody for 20 years. To me, it just feels weird, right? This is a big year for me, 2024. We're now into 2024. This is the first episode of 2024, too. And I'll be turning 50 this year. That's nutso to me. Like, to think about that you're turning 50, because that's old. Like, we can all agree, right? I remember when you was younger, you was like, 50?
Yeah.
Golly, you're
With your parents, our parents are so old.
Yeah, it's like you're like a grandpa. Like, are you a grandpa? Be like, oh, man.
Time is flying.
So 2024, it's going to be exciting. Paul has owned Precision Auto Body for the whole time I've known you.
Yeah, 24 years now.
24 years. That's a major accomplishment, you know? To stay self-employed, anybody that listens to this and know that self-employed knows, to have 24 years of success.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty amazing. It's something to be proud of. I'm very proud of it.
We started December 4th of 2000 and have been going nonstop since. So
December 4th of 2000. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And when did y'all get married?
November 3rd, 2007.
Yeah.
That's amazing, ain't it?
Yeah.
That too. How time is with that too. And y'all have a beautiful family. Everybody's growing up. The baby girl's getting.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, ain't it?
It's crazy because we're in this weird period right now where one's getting ready to leave the house. We actually had a conversation last night how he's only going to be here for 8 more months. 8 months.
Really?
It's dwindling.
What's he going to do?
Coast Guard.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he'll leave for boot camp September 10th. So we're on the home stretch of kid number 1 being gone.
How does that make you feel?
It's hard. I don't like it. My mommy heart doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, it's double-edged because you're proud that you got to that point.
Right, that you did it.
We made it, 18 years. But you're also like, holy cow, like the entire dynamic of your entire family is going to change in 8 months, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
How old's the baby?
She'll be 7.
She ain't a baby no more.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she's growing up.
That's wild. And how's the middle?
15. So he'll be 16 this year getting his license. So it's like a whole big shift happening this year.
It's a big year, 2024.
It is.
We sat around the table last night and we wrote our goals out for 24. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. It was fun to watch them do that. And
nice. Were they able to come up with some goals?
Yeah. It was fun. It was a couple tense moments there because we talked about how he's going to be moving out, and my youngest is, she's growing up, and got Carson. He's going to sophomore. Mm-hmm. Sophomore. Yeah. So he's moving on. So
does he know where's boot camp for the Coast Guard at?
In Connecticut. I'm not sure what the actual base is called. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So he's. And
then, like, you wouldn't even find out where he's stationed at until.
So boot camp is 8 weeks. At some point, like halfway through, they get to make a list of like 10 locations, 10 stations that he wants to go to. And then out of those stations, they'll pick one for him. And then I don't think they tell you where you're going until maybe right before they graduate from boot camp,
right,
or at graduation. So exciting. I think Hawaii and Alaska are on the top of his list. Really
exciting and scary too, right? Because it's like, hey, you can move out. Just don't go so far away that I can't come and see you here if I need to, right? If I just need to drop in on you, like, don't move to Hawaii. It takes a lot longer to get there from here.
It's like an actual trip. It's not like a weekend.
So we're going to need a plane or a boat.
I told him, I said, you got to pick one, college or military. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. So he's like, back and forth. And this has been going on since he was like 12. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? So you keep on asking him, and he's like, Coast Guard. That's where I want to be. So, hey.
You know what's funny is when I was 18, I too went up to the Coast Guard. That's what I wanted to do because I thought I could be a pilot, a helicopter pilot. And I wanted to do, I was like, I want to do those rescue missions. Like I want to be either the guy that's lowering down on the rope or the guy flying it. Come find out, right? Well, I mean, a couple of things. One, the asthma and all that stuff, dude, I didn't get in. Second, when I did fly, I found out that was a little bit, heights bothered me a little bit. I don't think I could be like a professional pilot. I'm more of a desktop pilot.
One time in a plane, Cub plane, I went up and to see if I wanted to get my license. It's nothing like riding in the back of a plane. When you actually are driving a plane, flying a plane,
Yeah.
it's there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. Well, I was in a Cessna, and it kept doing the dip. We was flying, and I was like, okay, when we took off, all that part was fine. I could handle the takeoff part. I'm like, all right, this is cool. The thing that was getting me was the dip. Like it would be flying, and it'd be like, boom, boom, and it'd be dropping. It would drop down a little bit, like you're going over a bunch of hills. And I was like, oh, this is a little bit. Is this sucker going to fall out of the sky? What's going to happen? And he would turn it real, and I'm like, oh, okay, you just got to be here.
I think Paul's was landing because you were coming in kind of sideways.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
and I just took my hands off the wheel. I said, I can't do it. I kind of threw back, and he's a good friend of mine that was flying me. So he's like, you just took your hands off the wheel. You just like let go. I was like, well, you're the professional. I'm just over here just riding along.
He's like, I did that so that you would grab the wheel.
Yeah, I knew you would take over.
Like, you're not going to crash this, are you, man? You got to.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
But you go in, it's kind of sideways. You don't even realize those planes are kind of because of the way the wind is. You're landing, and the plane is actually kicked a little bit. But when it lands, it straightens up right at the runway. So I didn't know that. He didn't give me the forewarning yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot about it that I didn't know whenever I thought I wanted to do it. So it's exciting. I'm excited for Trevor.
Me too.
Yeah.
He's got some good influences. My brother-in-law is actually in the Coast Guard.
Oh,
so when him and my sister first got together, he was the captain of a ship out in California, the Blackfin. So they got to tour the Blackfin, private tour.
Yeah.
And then spring break this past year, both the boys jumped on a plane by themselves and flew to my sister's house for the weekend, and they got a private helicopter tour of that rescue helicopter that you wanted to ride
That's
on.
also very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting stuff. 8 months.
8 months.
It's going to be here faster than we know it.
yeah.
We know we're halfway through January already, and it feels like maybe, not sure.
Yeah.
Flying.
It is.
So 24 years in business is in my opinion, is an accomplishment in itself. But go back in time with us. Take us back in time, Paul, to 2000.
2000.
What made you decide?
Well, I went to Bullitt East, graduated in 97, and during, my sophomore, senior year, I was actually working out of my parents' garage, doing body work,
Right.
beating on fenders, banging on, hoods.
Was it just friends and people you knew? Who did you have?
It was. Well, I first started buying vehicles and fixing them up and selling them. So I was actually selling cars to friends at school.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I was having to meet with their parents. I was 16, 17 years old. Hey, I got a car here for sale. So and it kind of bled over into hey, I can do better. I can just make a business card and just go out here to the cinemas and the malls and just put hey, I'll fix your car for $600. Find a vehicle that fender's banged up or something, and customer, and then and so people were bringing their cars. Customers were starting to come to my parents' house and drop them off. So that was kind of a
and you was doing that while you was in high school?
In high school, yeah. Yep. So, and it kind of, that led into a shop opening up into Mount Washington and right there on Bardstown Road. And we went in there and opened up.
How did you get that building?
What's that?
How'd you get that building?
The building, it was actually in the Pioneer News. It was in the newspaper for rent. It was opening up, and I was like, I went up there, I was just turned 20. So I was like, I still lived at home, never been out. So I was like, oh, this is great. I can do this. I can become a millionaire at 30. Didn't happen.
I know.
we always, we have these plans, our visions, and when we're young, it's just like, oh, I'm going to shoot to the top, but
there's a picture somewhere of the building, said building, when they moved in, and I'm pretty sure he has like a paint gun and one toolbox, and that's all that's
all we
there.
had. And I already had a little compressor. So I mean, we started with just a few things.
Right. Get them done one car at a time. And that was that was 2000 when you opened the building.
2000, yeah.
And if we fast forward, you was able to purchase that building, wasn't you?
Yeah. Purchase paid for. Yeah.
Ain't that neat?
Yes, it's been great. Yeah. It's been a long road.
Yeah. So, I believe in the very beginning too, was there a partner?
Yeah. I had a good friend of mine, Jeffrey McDowell. We'd been friends growing up, and so we both had that ambition of running a business together, and we did for about 5 years. And he was getting out of school, doing something different, went on and did something different. So I just took it and ran with it, and
hustler, a go-getter.
It's been hard.
Stayed after it.
It was tough. A lot of competition back then in Mount Washington. It was I think there was 7 collision facilities in town. So, I just took all the scraps. I didn't care.
Right.
I took whatever. Just people kind of. So, but we slowly built our clientele, and the big boom was in 12 when the hailstorm came through. I think everybody remembers that hailstorm that hit Fern Creek and hit Mount Washington. All that happened, and we took off. I mean, it really took off at that point in time. So that helped us out.
It did. It allowed us to build relationships with insurance companies, people that worked locally, people that worked, in claims. We were able to just forge some relationships because you're literally talking to these people every single day, about these same jobs. We fixed hail for 16 months. I think it took us to finish all the cars. There was that many of them.
I remember that there was a bunch of them, and everybody's car had the dings,
Looked like a golf ball
all over it.
Yeah.
You said something a while ago that I find that's it's funny now when we think about it, right? And you're talking about the competition when you started in the early days, and there was all those other body shops, and now here you are, you're that guy. Like, we've been able to see competition come and go over the years, and you're still there. So now whenever there's other people saying, "Hey, I want to do a body shop," they're like, "Oh man, well, Precision's down the road. They're pretty established, so it's harder to get into that market for the people that."
Yeah.
But you're saying, and I agree, it's doable. Like just like your market, my market, it's doable for a young person that is got the hustle.
It is.
If you got the hustle, it's not going to come to you, and you got to get out there. And that's why I say we just have had to do things a little different than our competition, and that's why they're gone, and we're still here.
Take care of the customer. Customer's number one. It's been that way since I opened the doors. It will be that way. We have a culture that we live by in our shop there, and it's all about the customer, taking care of the customer. And it's been that way since you started. And
I did. I actually had a customer yesterday. I've helped her 3 times in the last 3 weeks around Christmas, and she brought me a bouquet of flowers yesterday and a handwritten card. And those are the things that I really, truly enjoy.
It feels good. It feels good. We'll have some people, they'll bring us like cookies that they made. I'm like, oh, it just feels good. Like, oh man, they took their time to think, hey, I want to go up here and, give this lady some flowers and a card to thank her. It just makes you feel.
That's why we do it.
It's the extra, right?
It is. It's the bonus.
It's the bonus at work. You're like, not everybody, because of course I'm sure just like in anybody's business, everybody experiences people that have a bad day and they're coming in, they're complaining. I imagine yours is probably a little bit different even than ours because their car is now, out of commission and they can sometimes, people can sometimes be a little grumpy.
Yeah.
And, same thing if the computer's not working or whatever. And it's like, okay. But then when they come back with some flowers or even an apology saying, hey, I'm having a rough time. Thanks for getting my car fixed. I need to.
That's like he says, their car, most people's cars is at least their second most expensive investment, besides their house. So, and if you're down, a lot of people use it for work, and it has changed tremendously since COVID. Like, rental cars, people's policies are changing. That's huge for us, is how different things are repairing a car now versus 5-6 years ago. I mean, we're in a totally different environment.
What is different about it?
So, like, even the average job. So before COVID, before, kind of the world went wild, the average job for us to fix, you could fix a car in 2 to 4 days. Even on an insurance claim, that was common. Nowadays, if we have your car for 2 weeks, it's probably our new average. And that's just because of paperwork, because of parts, all these different things that are changing every day. That
insurance companies, the staffing, COVID hit and they down their staff tremendously. So it's everything is done mostly with third party now. So you have third party, adjusters that are writing in Chicago for this, said insurance company here in Kentucky. So it's like it has to go there, and then has to be sent to them, then has to come to us. So there's a process that wasn't like that.
So they're not sending out.
pre-COVID.
They're not sending out claim adjusters anymore.
No,
Then
there are
There's about two that do.
maybe three, but of 20 to 30
Right.
insurance companies that are.
so I'm assuming then they've managed to make you guys work for them.
Yes.
By
So-
you doing all the footwork, taking the pictures, sending them the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and then pleading the case on why it should be.
Our admin has went up probably 200%.
Really?
like
At least.
literally, we do everything now. We do everything that they did. We
Right.
do now in office. So it's a burden, especially with the amount of vehicles that are being wrecked on
Right.
the roads today.
I wonder if that is just a shift in, and I'm saying this with complete ignorance in their work culture to say, hey, look, we can save money
Oh yeah.
It
by
started.
pushing it all over on the body shop.
Oh yeah.
It started inadvertently, I think, because of COVID. Nobody went out. Nobody ever came. So body shops took that responsibility at the time to say, hey, we can't send people out to look, so we're going to help you guys do this. So it was like a courtesy thing. And then somewhere along the line, they figured out we don't have to pay for cars. We don't have to pay for, all these extras that we're paying for 25 people in one area to go out, and do all this stuff. That's a huge savings for an insurance company to not have to pay, for people to drive out to go look. We can use the body shop. But now that it's turned to a whole entire full-time job for office staff to try to handle every single one of these claims
Right.
Yeah.
for 40 different insurance companies.
Right.
And every insurance company is different. None of them are the same. So they want things. This one wants it different. As in, we want our photos this way, or we want our estimate this way. And so there's always that discussion and that extra phone call that we have to do. So it's just.
Right. And it's not like you can say, hey, we're not going to do that, because then it just wouldn't,
Yeah.
nobody would do it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly.
I wonder how many people would have to do that to get the insurance companies to take on the responsibility again, though.
It would have to be a major country shift.
Yeah, they have to hire the staffing back.
Right.
So that, all these people have to go back to work. So it's
Right.
like we're doing their job for them. So
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's a lot for us to get that done. So
Right. Right. And because, in the office, there's just three of you, right? In the office to handle all of that.
we actually just took on a new person in the back office. So yeah, there's four of us now.
There's four of you. Okay. Nice.
Which is tremendously taking a big burden off of the Lynn and,
Right.
and Karen in the front office. So
Because I imagine a lot of times people, it's almost like asking for an estimate. A lot of people come in, they say, hey, can you give me an estimate of this cost? They want you to go out and look at it, and you have to do that and stop what you're doing and run out there and do that. Do y'all do them as soon as people walk in?
yes. Yeah.
Nice. So you just knock it out?
Yep.
Most shops are, appointment only.
Yeah.
I told Lynn from the beginning, I said, we're not going to change our culture. We're not going to change who we are. I'm the same from the beginning, and I'm always going to be the same.
Right, right.
Because a lot of corporate ran
Yeah.
collision facilities that, they have, it's to us, it's all about the customer.
Mm-hmm.
We take care of the customer. And a lot of these other shops, it's all about the insurance company. They take care of the insurance company. So because they're the ones that are feeding the shops. And I never have had that mentality. She
No,
knows that.
our customers feed our shop.
It's all about the customer.
Word of mouth is more important to me than any insurance company out there. And I think I hope people feel that when they come in. I hope people, I think people in this day and age, if they've been to another shop or they've been in a situation in the past with insurance and a different collision facility, that, they might already have like a notion in their head on how it's going to go. And I hope when they walk in and I talk to them that they're like, oh, this can be different. This
Right.
doesn't have to be.
This isn't
doesn't
like
have to
what
feel
I
like.
thought it was going to be. It's not going to be a hassle.
Right.
Because we pick up we're like a mediator for the most part.
Right.
Like,
and you really are, because you're working, between, you got to advocate for them. If you're taking the pictures, you got to make sure you get that picture. Like, hey, we need to get this fixed. Because insurance companies, I feel like, can sometimes be quick to say no to things. Even they be, oh, no, we're not going to cover that. So, to have somebody advocating for you, that's
Yeah, there's a percentage of older people too that don't No, I mean, everything is turned into pocket estimates for a lot of these insurance companies. Like, oh, take a couple pictures, send it to this website or download this app.
Right.
And you take my mom is 74 years old, and she knows what an app is, but she doesn't know how to download an app and take photos and add claim numbers and
Set up an account.
Yeah, and so
add your information.
So the claim process is delayed on their end. So their car's sitting there at their house wrecked or at a tow lot wrecked, and they're like, I don't know what to do. So it's like, so we're filling in those voids. We're going out and doing these things for these customers. We're helping them out. And there's no fee. There's no cost. This is just what we do. You have to help. Got to help them. Who else is?
Well, and it's educating the people too. It's kind of where we've turned into. It's like no insurance companies, people aren't educating people on how this has changed in the last 15, 20 years. Like, we're having totally different conversations. I have people every day that send those photos into insurance companies, and they will come to me and be like, the insurance company, only wrote $1,000, and I know it's got to be more than this, I'm like, it's fine, just we'll set you up. That's my job. Like, I'll handle it from there. Like, it's not a big deal. It's the new process. They're going to write a general estimate that gets things started. That's all I need. We can take it from there.
I can see you probably talking people off the ledge a lot too. When they're in a panic mode, be like, this is not, this is, the numbers ain't math in here for us. And then you say, hey, we can figure it out.
We're good.
Yeah.
that which is comforting whenever, because like you said, not only is it one of your second most expensive costs, some people, I feel like it's probably their primary way to travel, to move around. Like, if you don't have a car, like, well, I'm kind of just out with no car. Got to find a friend or somebody, so they get into a little bit of a panic mode too. Yeah. Like, I could see that being a thing.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. And you got to try to navigate people through the whole process too, because it's like, it's just hard. It's like everybody obviously wants their car fixed, in a quick, timely manner.
With a magic wand.
If I had one of those magic wands, man, it would be awesome.
Fixed.
Done.
With the technology today too, not only has it got more difficult for the claims process, but the technology of the vehicles. So there's calibration that's taken place. There is there's so much technology in these vehicles that some things have to be done at the dealership, like dealership only.
Right.
Like, they hold that like patent on that technology, so they're not going to allow any shop to do that as of now. This calibrations of the sensors on the front. So there's a lot of that goes into it. So there is an extra timeline process that has to be included in the repair process.
I am a super pro right to repair, right? That only makes sense for me because I'm a repair shop, and that's what we do. And I would think that you would be too. Like, they can't withhold this technology that if you have to have it in order to do it. I had a rock pop off of one of the dump trucks, popped up and hit my windshield. And it wasn't just put a new windshield in; it was put a new windshield in, get it calibrated. The calibrating alone was like $700. They said because of the
distance sensor that's built into the
that you can't just slap another one on. So I was thinking, man, golly, if there was only one person that could do that, well, they'd be rolling around in it and be so backed up it'd take forever to get your car in. But by having that technology available for a shop to be able to purchase that.
And they should. So like Chrysler, we can access a lot more with them because we pay a fee with our scanner system to be able to do that. Now, like Honda holds on to their own. They're not going to let you.
Really?
But then you got to try to get on their books, to get scheduled.
Is that like a paywall?
A what?
Is it like a paywall? Like you have the Chrysler app or you have the Chrysler the scanner?
Yeah, so it's like built into our scanner, and then it's all connected through like a computer system, but it allows us
if you pay more.
If you pay more, it's a secure connection.
Yeah. And then it uploads onto the cloud and accesses the files that you need and pulls them down to the scanner, and then allows us to go into that vehicle to see what's going on with it. So if there's a sensor issue, but if you don't have this, you have that,
you won't find it.
Yeah, you're out of luck.
Right. You just
you're sending it to the dealership. So yeah.
Well, so Chryslers, would you say that that would probably be one of the easier ones to repair?
They're all about the same.
They're all the same.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, that technology, once we got that technology, then we're able to just handle those like Fords and GM. So for the most
What do you
part.
think the most difficult?
The most difficult, probably, as in parts or as in the vehicle itself?
Just the
to repair?
vehicle itself. When you see one, you're like, oh man, here we are. Dodges.
Challengers.
The
Really?
Challengers
A
are-
lot of front end parts on a
There's
Challenger.
a lot. Like a Challenger, you would not believe on the front bumper how many components there are.
Just on the bumper.
There's like 25, 30 components.
Just on the bumper.
Just on the bumper. And every part has a large value.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Well, it's like a Jeep grill. I mean, some of those like Grand Cherokee grills are like 8 different parts, and so you got like the base, and then you've got the grill, and then you got the mesh, and then you got the rings. So you're like,
little chrome rings. There's like
So
8 of them.
when
Each
you're-
individual ring is a cost. So
So when you're ordering a part, you got to make sure you're getting
every single
all 25 or all 8 different components, and then do you have to assemble it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We do a when they come in, we do a tear down blueprinting. So we blueprint the vehicle, so we know exactly what we need for that vehicle. So the first estimate's wrote by the insurance company or by Lynn, and she sends it. So what we can see. Then once we get it in there, we do a complete tear down and do a blueprint. Any additional, we add to a supplement. That supplement is sent up to the insurance company with photos. Then we have to wait for them to send that back, and then basically it's negotiating for the most part. They're like, well, we found a part in Iowa that's used. Well, we're not going to order this part from Iowa used and get it here and it'd be damaged. Or there's so many variables there. So it's all about the customer. Again, it's worth me not making as much to get a new part. Let's get this customer back in their vehicle. And that's the biggest thing, because their rentals are only so long. So customers are running out of rentals, and they're saying, well, the shop, it's the shop. The insurance companies are first to lay it onto the shop, but we're sitting here. It took 3 weeks to get the paperwork processing done. So,
Oh, yeah. The insurance companies would always be quick to push the blame
yeah.
on somebody else. It's always somebody else other than.
yes.
I had one just recently. It's a 2023 Tahoe, and she has 3,000 miles on her car. She got hit in the rear end of this car, and the insurance company sent over their estimate with all aftermarket parts.
Yeah.
How do you fight that?
Well, good news for her is that I did some reworking of the, called the aftermarket parts place and did some research, and he didn't have any of those parts actually available.
No.
So they have to send us over what they call a zero quote and be like, hey, we don't have these. They're not, like it says they're available, but they're not, we don't have any stock on it. So we were able to get those. There was a couple I think they tried to leave on there. They have started some price matching programs with the OEMs. So now if we do have that still on the table with where for the aftermarket, price, they're trying to help out body shops by giving you a little bit of a break on the OE part. So that way we can avoid that a little bit.
I just don't know. Like, what are aftermarket parts? Where do they come from? Who's making that aftermarket part for?
They're mostly from Taiwan and in China, Taiwan.
For like every car?
It's so
Most
what an
vehicles.
aftermarket part is you say you got a fender, a Ford fender. That Ford stamps out 10,000 fenders. Well, once that stamp has stamped out so many fenders, it eventually starts losing the specs, like the specs that they require for that fender to fit perfectly, or they're done stamping out fenders. So then they sell that stamp to Taiwan, and then they stamp out 100,000 fenders. So the fender doesn't always fit perfectly. So when we get an aftermarket fender, we're like, you go to put it on, you have to test fit it. You're like, whoa, this does not fit right. You're banging on the fender. So basically, we're doing a repair to a new fender. We do not. We do use some aftermarket parts, but it's
I want to try to avoid it, right?
very, very minimal. So I mean, we're doing price matching for the most part. I mean, she'll tell you I'd say it's 90% down. That's how much. We don't.
It is. Well, there was a lot of issues after COVID too. A lot of vendors either went under, didn't have staff, or staff walked out on a lot of these companies for both OEMs and aftermarkets. it changed the whole landscape. So even like we were having a little bit of trouble with like Jeep bumpers from Jeep, for a while there because they had to use a different vendor to get these parts from. So there was like a whole, like, it's insane. People don't even think about it. I just found out yesterday from Bachman that all the large SUVs for Chevy and GMC right now, so all your Tahoes, Suburbans, Sierras, Silverados, right now the company that makes all their fenders, doors, lift gates, tailgates, bedsides, that company walked out. So they have like a small scab crew that's going in and just pounding out 1,000 of these doors one day. And so they're all essentially on back order, and that's all your like 23, 24 vehicles.
No, that's going to be going to come down the pipeline eventually. It'd be a big problem.
It already has.
Really?
We got one that was supposed to come in next week, and how do you tell the customer that his part is not available? We don't know when we're going to get it.
It's just not available.
And you can't get it aftermarket.
And he's scheduled out 2 months ago. And so, we ordered the part. And so, but we're still waiting on a part that we don't know when it's going to get here. So.
I wonder if they would go back like on the manufacturer, right? Like, because I would think that you'd be required to be able to supply the part.
You are.
For something that you sold them, especially when we're talking cars now, $60,000.
It used to be 25 years. I don't know what it is now, but like they had to be able to offer that part. Mm-hmm. I believe that's gone now. So because I can look on and see parts that just discontinued. So then you're like, oh no, it's discontinued. What do we do? So you call the dealership or you call the parts. They said, well, we found one in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. There's one at a dealership in Wisconsin. Let me call up there and see if I can grab that for you and ship it here. And so you're like, please, so
please.
So for this customer, so yeah.
So what are, and just going to shift a little bit, what are some 2024 goals that Precision Auto Body wants?
Right now, we are in the final phases of our architectural drawings on our new facility that we are going to be breaking ground this year. So we are finishing up permits and things with Mount Washington to get that process done. So the building has been ordered. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a big year for Precision Auto Body.
It's going to be so neat.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Bigger space.
When do you think that groundbreaking is going to take place?
We're trying somewhere right around June to break.
Nice summer.
Yeah. So yeah, but we do got our first set of plans, and we are super excited. We need this. We're going to be right at a 12,000 square foot. 12,000. Yeah, 12,000 square foot facility. We're operating in roughly 4,500 right now. So it's going to be a big,
more than double the space.
Enclosed and conditioned, and
the excitement in the shop is. We have a morning meeting every day, and it's brought up. I can't wait till that shop's built. We can't wait. So we're super excited. All the guys in the shop are excited to be in this new facility. So
it's pretty exciting stuff, and a major another right when we talk about small business, just another major thing. I mean, it's taken all this time, the hard work, the stress, the up lates, and trying to just run a business on however we feel like businesses should be run.
Yeah.
And now you're going to build another big building.
Yeah. We're excited.
It's exciting. It's also a little scary because sometimes growing is scary.
It is.
Or you're like nervous, like, am I making the right decision? Is this going to go well?
And in our times that we're living into, everything feels a little volatile with social media. Like everybody thinks, it's going to take just one person to be mad. And the next thing you know, you're not going to have a business no more, because that's not the way it works. But that's in our minds when they fight against us. It's like, hey, am I making a good decision? You're only 42, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm 45.
So you're only 45. Yeah. Like you're still young, right?
Yep.
And so, it's a perfect time to build that building, have that thing going, and the business, you still got another 20 plus years of working in you, so that's pretty cool. Lynn's got another 40 plus years of working there. She's young.
Well, she swears that she's going to retire when I retire.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well,
she's
when am I still going to work while he's having all the fun? Come on.
We met with a retirement financial group, and they're like, when do you plan on retiring? I said, well, probably about 15 years, maybe. She's like, and then they asked her the same question. She goes, when he retires.
Yeah, we're retiring at the same time. What do you mean?
There's no other option.
When he quits, I'm quitting, and we're going to do something different. You know, I mean, because y'all travelers. Y'all like to travel.
We do.
Love to travel.
Is that the end game? Is that the goal for after retire to be some travelers?
Yeah, if we can. Yeah, that's kind of that's the plan.
We like to travel. We like to travel together.
We have certain destinations we like to go to. You know, we love Phoenix and we love Florida. Love to go down there in the winter times.
No, y'all drivers or flyers?
Flyers. Paul has a rule: if it's over 3 hours, unless he has to haul his fishing boat, he's not driving.
Don't want to drive.
I'm gonna fly.
So there's no RV in your future then?
No, probably not.
You know, which is funny because that's what mine is with Christine. And we talk about just having one of the really nice ones that you see. You know, like I want to get in one of those, sell my house, and just drive
Travel
around.
across the country.
Just go see the country. You know.
Well, we'll meet you there.
We get a little bit. Yeah, you fly out there. You're like, hey, I'm just here for the cold. Oh, the rain's coming. Yeah. We're going to drive south. You know, it's getting cold here. I'm going to drive south, or too hot. You know, the other way. So,
I think that's awesome. I think he has learned how to drive a little bit since we started building a lake house, and so he's had to drive the 2.5 hour journey multiple times a week, back and forth. You know, that good stuff. So
let's talk. We're getting close, right, to being done here, and so let's say we already talked about goals. We talked about the business, how it's growing. Is there any other messages you'd like to tell somebody for 2024? Got Lynn? You got something for,
he's like,
for 2024?
like,
hey, you throw
do
something.
you? How about you? I don't know. It's really, I don't know. It's just different. I guess probably be patient or ask questions. Literally, if anybody needs any advice on how to get through an insurance claim, I'll be happy to talk you through it. I literally live it every single. So I tell people, they're like, how do you? And I'm like, I do this every single day. I probably have the same conversation at least 30 times a day.
Yeah. Don't be steered. There's a lot of steering going on right now with the insurance industry. I noticed that. I see it every day. Customers say, I have to go here. The insurance company told me I had to go here.
Yeah, I see that. I hear that.
And it's not that way. It's by law. State Kentucky law says that you can choose any shop you want. You can go to any shop you want. So there's a lot of steering going on. So
yeah, I've heard that. I think for some reason I feel like it was John Oliver or someone that was talking about how insurance companies will tell people. It wasn't John Oliver. Paul, it was you that told me that. The insurance companies are saying, hey, you are, here's your, you take it over here and get it done. People just, all right, whatever, and they do that because they told them to do it, but they could have went anywhere else and had it looked at. Sometimes an insurance company will find somebody.
I'd say, if anything, pick a body shop. If you have an accident, basically interview a body shop, essentially, because everybody, if you have an insurance claim, and like I had a lady come in yesterday, insurance already wrote her an estimate, but they're, still in those days of people trying to go around to get other estimates. So instead of that, and I guess that's people's way of maybe getting in the door. So, but you don't necessarily have to get an estimate to decide whether or not you want to go to a body shop. Just go in there and interview them. Feel them out. Go somewhere where you're comfortable. Don't just pick a body shop because your insurance told you to go there or whatever. Go get that feeling, because I go to Lowe's because I like Lowe's, or just anywhere like that. Like, I go to stores because I'm comfortable there. I know the people. I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah. Sometimes it might be, from the other perspective, it might be like trying to shop for a doctor when your arm is broken.
Yeah.
And you're like, are you a good doctor or a bad doctor? I just need to know, like, my arm is, can you get this fixed immediately?
You say, hey, I know that one of your friends had shoulder surgery. You say, hey, who'd you go to? Oh, he's great. And so you're like, oh, they're great over there. And so that's kind of you always talk to your friends or other people that's been in that situation. So
yeah, and and I feel like, of course, here for us in Bullitt County, that's worked. It's worked really good for me. I know it's worked good for you. Word of mouth is super important because these are our neighbors. And even if everybody might think different, but they're still close to you, next door. And they'll say, hey, where do you go get your car fixed at?
We're going to be there for the next 20, 30 years. We're not going to sell out. We're going to be the same people we were from the very beginning, forever.
Ain't that awesome?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're in it together.
There's a lot of corporate
That is
brands.
awesome, too. That is awesome. Husband and wife working together has its challenges,
It
right?
does.
And but it is, and from our perspective, and Christine's in the other room now, but from ours, it's I do enjoy it. Like we're a team, we do team things. We both got the same goals, as far as like the business has got to succeed, and we are with each other. I imagine like you guys
A lot.
all the time.
Every
Like,
now and then, we get boxing gloves out.
Yeah,
But
well, you
it's-
have to.
But it's
It's part of it.
You have to because people are people, and we're going to have different ideas. People are going to have different ideas, and sometimes I'll be a little bullheaded on it. There's been ideas that she's proposed, and I have been adamant, nah, not doing it. And then we go on and do them anyway, and come find out they was great ideas.
or a year later down the road, we're doing that idea.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm so glad we're doing that idea, and that's when I say, man, that was a really good idea you had, even though I fought her on it, and I was like, I don't want to do it.
That's usually me. I'm usually the fighter of his ideas, and then we do them. Yeah. So, like, do you also have the thing where you're like, work totally differently? Like, he is just go 100 miles an hour, like do all these things 100 miles an hour all day long. Like, you never know where he's going to pull from. I have to like make a list. If I don't have a list and check it off the list, I can't do it.
Christine is definitely our processes person, where we have processes that we're supposed to go through. But I have been, I'm telling on myself now because I've been doing it so long, I just kind of want to jump in and do it, and then I move on with my life. Boom. Clear the plate. That's what I do. I clear the plate. There's something on it. All right, let's take that off, fix it. Now moving on, doing something different. And I don't take the notes and things like that. And she's like, hey, you're not taking notes. So now she's been on me. So 2024 is going to be different.
You're doing notes.
I'm doing notes. I'm doing notes. I'm like, oh, you know what? I got to do these notes because you never know when somebody's going to call back up. And you worked on their car 8 months ago. And they call you up, say, I just had it in there not too long ago, and this was never done. Be like, well, why didn't you tell me?
Oh, yeah, we had that was a big change and shift with our roles in the office when those shifted. That was the thing, because he would always be the guy who people would come up and be like, they'd talk in the parking lot,
Right,
he'd be like, oh, I'll take care of that, I'll take care of that, I'll take care of that, while it's here. Well, if you don't write down notes.
Right.
Well, when I turned 40, I used to keep everything in my head. And I did pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But now I carry a book sitting right here in front of me that I take all my notes down, because if I don't, I'll forget.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that there's anybody that's listening in their 40s, and in their 50s, they're like, we have to write stuff down, because there's so many things we got going on in our life. Our lives are so full anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, the day's task and how much you got going on with kids and everything and business, and you don't want to forget one thing. You forget, and then you add it to the next day, add it to the next day. Next thing you know, it's a week and a half later. You're still trying to do that one thing. It's kind of like, man.
And I'm always doubling back too with, did I do that?
Yeah.
I said I was going to do that. Did I do the thing I said I was going to do? I'm like, I did. And then I even catch myself sometimes, and this is a little bit of whatever is going on in the world now, but I'll lock the door. I'll go get my car, and then I'll start, and I'll be like, did I lock the door? So then I'll back up. I have even went as far as to turn around and be like, I don't even know if I just walked out the door. I do know the other day we went to Cincinnati and everything, and when we stopped at a restaurant, and I just got out of my car, and Christine was like, you going to turn it off? I was like, oh, yeah. We turned the car off, so my bad.
You drive from home to work, and then how did I get here?
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow.
How did I get here?
Well, I made it through every one of those red lights.
Did I even pass the red light?
Literally.
Did I stop?
Don't remember driving up Barstown Road. It's like because you were...
The brain is so preoccupied with so many other things. I'll have 15 things in my mind at the same time, and I drive, and I like to think that, yes, I obeyed all this. I'm a robot, and I obeyed all the traffic laws, and it was not a problem. But, yeah, then I'll get there, and I'll be like, well, I didn't pay a lick of attention the whole time. Here I am. I'm at work now, so I get out the car, Hey, guys, I appreciate y'all coming out today.
Thank you so much.
It's a big deal for us. I think that I was super on fire in 2023 for a podcast, and then it fizzled on me, right? Just life. Things happen, and it starts to fizzle. So I told Christine, 2024, I would like to do this. This isn't for a monetary gain of any kind. This is for fun, and we're creating a time capsule. So this conversation is captured now, right? And in 20 years,
We can go back
Trevor's
and listen.
family will be able to go back and even listen. Like, oh, this is a time, if he ever did, who knows?
Yeah. Great. I love it.
I am. I'm
Thank-
gonna start that one over. What was you gonna say?
Well, thank you for having us out.
Man, thanks for coming. I got this outro music. Let's see if it works. That did not work the way that I wanted it to. I gotta set my buttons up right. My buttons are all screwy. Where this one was not the beginning of the track. I'm learning as I go. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for having us out today.
Bye bye.